Okay, so this is our chapter 5 according to our new syllabus. Uh, Chapter which have the topics of ecosystem, ozone layer depletion, okay, environmental problems. So we have to discuss this chapter as our chapter 5th of our new syllabus. Okay, what is environment? Environment consists of all the living and non-living things which interacts between each other, like the plants, animals, and microorganisms are the living components, and for the sustenance of their life they depend on the non-living components like air, water, and soil. So the physical components, the physical surroundings in which they interact with each other in is known as the ecosystem. Okay, it consists of both abiotic and biotic components. Abiotic components are non-living. It consists of inorganic substances like oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, water, and carbon dioxide present in the air, and organic compounds like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. These are all abiotic components. It also consists of climatic factors. Climatic factors means atmospheric like humidity, temperature, pressure, atmospheric pressure, etc. And what are the biotic components? That are the living components. Okay, so living are producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers are the green plants, consumers are the animals which eat the green plants, okay, and also the animals. Decomposers consist of the bacteria and fungi, etc. Okay, so what is an ecosystem? Ecosystem is the basic functional ecological self-sustaining unit of biosphere. Okay, it is a self-sustaining unit of biosphere in which exchange of materials is takes place. Okay, exchange of materials between different species of living organism and the non-living organism or non-living components of the habitats. There is a exchange of energy and materials. Okay, and the term ecosystem was given by firstly A.G. Tansley in 1935. He defined the ecosystem as the interacting system comprising the biotic community and its physical environment. Okay, an ecosystem can also be defined as a unit made up of all living and non-living components of a particular area that interact and exchange materials with each other. Okay, so we have to discuss this abiotic and biotic components for treating this as the ecosystem. Okay, these consist of the abiotic and biotic components. Abiotic components are inorganic substances, organic and climatic factors, and biotic components consist of the producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers are generally the autotrophs or self-nourishing organisms. Okay, these are the organisms which synthesize their own food from raw materials. Producers, they are plants. Consumers, they are animals, and decomposers are like bacteria. Okay, with the help of the photosynthesis these plants produces their own food. Okay, consumers, there may be of three types: primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers. Primary are herbivorous which eats grasses. Carnivorous are secondary consumers which eats both plants and animals, and tertiary consumers are third order, the bigger animals. Okay, bigger carnivorous predators, and omnivorous animals which consumes both plants and animals. Okay, in this way we can define these components. Now the this is about the biotic components, animals and plants, and their classification. Next topic is the food chains and web. What is a food chain? Food chain is between the producers, okay, consumers, and decomposers. This is how the plants prepare their food, and how the herbivorous animals will eat them, and how the carnivorous animals eat the herbivorous animals. This chain is continuous. Okay, the interaction is continuous. The starting of this chain at the various levels. Okay, this is between the primary, secondary, and third, that is the tertiary consumers. Okay, and they forms the four trophic levels. Okay, they forms the four trophic levels. Then interaction start from green plants. autotrophs, okay, which are the producers. They obtain water and minerals from the soil, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and energy from the sun to produce the food in their leaves by the process called photosynthesis. And the energy is transferred to the primary consumer by being eaten, and then to secondary consumer, and so on. This transfer of energy from one trophic level to the other trophic level is known as the constitute of a food chain. Okay, food chain is constitute here. Okay, so producers are eaten by herbivorous and then carnivorous. So this is known as the food chain. A shorter food chain could be the wheat which are produced are eaten by the human beings. Okay, so what is the next is the food web. Okay, in this triangle you can see the trophic levels. There are 4 trophic levels: tertiary, secondary, primary, and producers. This is starting from the producers. The energy level, energy is going from the primary to secondary to then to tertiary consumers. Okay, so here you can understand the food chain by the 4 trophic levels of the ecosystem. Okay, and this is the energy flow diagram. This is the energy which is flows from the herbivorous to carnivorous and omnivorous. There the chain is continuous. Okay, these are continuous chain. Now the food web. Food web consists of many food chains. Okay, group of food chains is known as the food web. And food and feeding relationships of plants and animals are rarely as simple as the examples of food chains described above. Okay, so different kinds of food chains overlap each other. Okay, like many aquatic plants are eaten by the animals, aquatic animals. Okay, then aquatic animals by the some animals, carnivorous animals. So these food chains overlap each other. So a food web consists of many food chains, okay, in which the top carnivorous animals eat carnivorous and carnivorous eat herbivorous, then producers and sunlight. So this is the flow of energy in an ecosystem. How the energy flows in an ecosystem? Firstly, from the sunlight to the producers. Okay, sunlight is used by the producers for preparing their food. Then producers, which are plants, are eaten by the herbivorous animals, then carnivorous, and then the top carnivorous animals. This is the flow of energy in the ecosystem. And this ecosystem is of the 4 trophic levels is a food chain, and food chain, many food chains constitute to make a food web. Okay, the network of food chains operating in nature in a particular area is called a food web. For example, when a grass is eaten by grasshoppers as well as by rabbits, deer, or cattle. Okay, each of these herbivorous may be eaten by carnivores such as frog, snake, depending on their food habits. So the different sorry, food chains are continuous to form and overlapping each other to form the food web. Okay, so here energy is transferred from one animal to another. These are the trophic levels of this food chain, in which the primary consumers, the types of consumers, and the role of decomposers is the decomposition of uh, the organic and organic substances. Okay, the food relationship among the different organisms in a system. Food chains are the living components of the biosphere, and these are the vehicles of transfer of energy from one level to another. Food chains transfer of materials and nutrients also takes place, and some toxic substances like DDT in ecosystem spread to kill the pest also uh, takes place. Okay, also interacts. So we'll discuss about this pollution or environmental problems and their solutions. How do this food chain affects our environment in our next lecture? Thank you. Have a nice day.